Well, everybody, welcome back. Hope you like the music. If you don't recognize the voice you're hearing now, that's Jon Russell.
Hey guys, how you doing?
From North America, Warlord North America.
Thanks again for letting me back and come back and have some fun. And of all the podcasts I do, I got to tell you from my heart, straight from my heart, this is the one I have so much fun with. I have so much fun. I know you guys. We've been in the same place at Renegades, and it's just so much fun to sit around the table and just kibitz for like 2 hours. It's a hoot. I love it.
It is. We appreciate it.
If you like more episodes with Jon Russell, please see episode 14, 25, and 40.
We should have got that indexed or something now.
There you go.
As I mentioned back in the hobby, as I've been going back through and tallying up all the music we played through the episodes, and so you get some bleed in some of those things. It's pretty fun.
Sure, for sure.
Amen.
We should go live with Jon at the next Renegade.
Yes, let's do that. That'd be fantastic.
That sounds dangerous.
Yeah, that's always dangerous. You know what?
I like the chance to edit myself, if you don't mind.
Oh, you're right. Now that I think about it, editing. Yeah, that's how we save ourselves.
The beauty about live, though, is that it doesn't always get captured. So you can say stupid stuff, but it normally doesn't. Somebody's not going to hold you accountable.
But it's magical, man. It's magical.
It's the internet. Everything exists on the internet. It stays on the internet once it's on the internet.
Well,
you got to remember these things.
We, if you want to hear it live, come to Renegade.
Yes, right.
That's how you can do it. There you go.
Renegade is the way to end the convention season. It is one of the best cons. It's up there in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It's fantastic. I love going up there. It's perfect. The venue is great. The guys who run. Oh wait, it's the Snafu guys. They run that, and they do a great job.
We run
up
our
there.
part.
Yeah, that's right.
We run ours.
But everybody who's involved with that convention is just spot on. The vendors hall is fantastic. The layout is fantastic. The convention hall is fantastic. Yep. Jamie's a great job.
Jamie runs a good ship.
Yep.
Yes, he does.
Currently, ticket sales are slated to go on the beginning of August for the November. For the November event.
Well, I'll do everything I can to make sure I promote that.
We'll see if it happens.
The world pending, we have a backup date for January.
Cool.
So,
Perfect.
So we might
don't have to use that one because that might have some travel issues. That's for sure.
Well, and if that happens, then it kind of actually fits into the what we didn't talk about last time, the tournament circuit that's going to pop on Warlord stuff in September. So that's another little surprise that I didn't tell you guys about before, but that's going to happen here, and we can talk about that later.
No, I think Paul kind of alluded to some of the more organized play type stuff.
Yep.
And we had talked to him, so that's
perfect.
That's super exciting to hear about.
So speaking of stuff we talked to Paul about, we didn't get as much information out of him as we wanted to.
Of course not.
Well,
never do.
You Warlord guys are all tight-lipped all the time.
He is, but I'm not. You know that. Come on now.
So, last episode we talked about 3rd edition. We went down the rabbit hole. And
yes.
We do that about every 3, 4, 8 episodes.
And you talked to Paul Walker, too, about it. You were talking about Paul Walker, not Paul Sawyer, right?
Paul Walker, yes.
Paul Walker,
okay.
yeah.
If Paul Sawyer was on here, that'd be a different...
What was his phone number again?
Exactly. I give it to you if you want, but never mind. PR549. But anyway,
not on the air. Yeah,
that's right. I can tell you right now, from what I know, and the last time I was at headquarters in December, but what I know from right now, talking to Lesio and Paul Sawyer and John Stoller and everybody at AQ, what I know right now, I can safely say that as of this moment, today, looking at the calendar, 6th of July, there is nothing in the works for 3rd edition. I'll say again, nothing right now in the works for 3rd edition.
So you'd like us to write some stuff down and submit it?
Exactly, please do. Yeah.
Do not go to D10s.
So
yes.
write all.
Yeah, D10s. Yeah.
So we can just write 3rd edition and send it to you guys.
Exactly. I got Pat. You again.
Yes, it'll be a piece of paper that has the word 3rd edition and then our names, and that's the only thing on it right there. We'll
I got
send
so much trouble about that the D10 stuff that Frederick, bless his heart, up there in Maine and in the North New England about. He started putting out these questionnaires and stuff, and the HQ was like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "They're just asking questions about what's going on in the bolt action community," and he's just asking questions. And there was such vehemence about the D10/D6, and the headquarters said there will right now, as far as I know, there will be no way that it'll be D10. It will always be D6. So
And make sure rolling high is good, please.
Exactly. 1, 2, 3, bad. 4, 5, 6, good.
I've spent decades of training my D&D dice to roll high.
Yes.
So when I grab dice, rolling high is good, and you need me to roll low, I can't.
Yes.
I don't know how to wish that way.
Yes.
Right.
That's why, that's why I never got the grasp of infinity.
Oh my God! What a beautiful table, but that rule book is just immense.
I like rules, but that's a bit much.
Yeah. I tell you, take all your Infinity terrain and use it for Judge Dredd. It'll work perfect.
I'm not to go down a rabbit hole of other game systems, but I actually think my second favorite mechanic is actually in Infinity, which is the face-to-face roll where you always have a chance of stopping whatever your opponent's doing, which I think is my first being, of course, bolt actions order mechanic.
Impulse, the impulse move. Yep.
But the second one is that for some reason that being able to cancel your opponent's thing by just
rolling
the
better.
will, having a will of being able to do it better is intriguing to me. But
that's dice games. If you roll better, you usually win.
Well, and that's the beauty of a D20 though too, right? That's I don't want us to go to D20s to get a face-to-face roll, but that's what makes that game intriguing to me, other than the fact that it is like 8 bajillion rules. So anyway, that's a different podcast.
Yes.
So let's talk about some more. So this is our 50th episode, John.
Congratulations, guys! This is just
you.
Such a monumental event in podcast history. 50 episodes. It is. I'm truly humbled and honored to be on this and be a part of this. And I couldn't think of a bunch of nicer guys to have this anniversary, and it is phenomenal. And good job. And hopefully another 50 more.
Hopefully more. They won't be any better, but
yeah.
3 years and 3 months.
Incredible.
3 years.
That's
and
incredible.
4 months.
That's relatively good timing, I would say. Like that does not.
It's a little more than one every month. So
yeah. So back in January, February, I was kind of pacing out when 50 would hit, and it was going to be August.
Okay.
And so I talked to Brad from the Warlord podcast and from Cast Ice and reached out to him. I was like, hey, I was thinking maybe we should have you do some sound bites. And he did the Legion for us. You guys heard that. Yeah. We had him do a couple of Rick's typical parts, which I thought was pretty entertaining.
It's pretty humorous, yeah.
It was pretty humorous, and he had some really kind words to say about us. I mean, I kind of blushed and teared up a little bit when I heard it the first time. I'm like, I didn't realize people cared about us that much. That's kind of weird.
They don't.
They don't. Brad does, but they don't. Yeah.
Brad does, and other podcasters do, but yeah.
And John does,
John
I try.
Some people find us mildly entertaining sometimes.
And we also are occasionally accurate.
So there we go.
So
batting 500, I'm cool.
Yeah. So and then of course the world took a turn. I'll just
Diverse.
say.
Yeah.
And
something like that.
we decided, hey, you know what? Let's take advantage of this and just try and keep some content going. And so we actually moved ahead 2-3 months to episode 50 hitting the beginning of July. So
perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the dog days of summer. So.
Yes. And speaking of summer, hopefully, I know you guys can't come down, but we are having our convention in July. I always try to push stuff. Me, the pusher.
Yeah.
And
right.
We are having Twisted Lords. It's going to happen on the 24th, 5th, and 6th of July down here in Oklahoma City. Yes, we're doing COVID protection. We're having masks and washing stations and the 6 foot. I mean, the table's already 4 foot, so we're doing that. But yes, it's amazing to me that people look. We're going to have 9,000 square feet plus of fun. We're going to have all kinds of craziness. We have over 30 events, over 10 vendors. 24th, 5th, and 6th of July down here in Oklahoma City. It's Twisted Lords. If you go to Tabletop Events, you'll see it. Yes, we're doing the convention. Yes, we're taking care of things. Yes, we're serious. And it's amazing to me that people are like, oh, you can't be... No, yes, I am serious, and don't call me Shirley.
Yep, you'll also find that in our Facebook page, and we'll give it a reboost here after this episode.
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys.
So what's... Quick question. Sorry, just it occurred to me. What are you doing with the order dice bag?
I was going to ask the same question.
Okay. There's several different ways we can do that. We're either going to have 2 bags, or the Fighting Kentuckian came up with a brilliant idea how to do that. If you look on the Facebook page,
we also have that link on our Facebook page.
Yes,
too.
Please. He came up with a great idea. Either like you had talked about earlier, Pat, about using different kind of poker chips or whatever, but either one guy dedicates to he'll always pull the dice, or you just have 2 dice full of the same amount of dice and just go back and forth. But there's many different ways, or, before you start the game, we'll sanitize and bless the dice with the holy water, and we'll be ready to go.
Just a giant tub of vodka?
Exactly.
Okay. FYI, John, in case somebody doesn't feel comfortable with any of those things, someone posted an app that they had.
Yes, I saw that. Brilliant.
Yeah, it was. I would say it was maybe. I wanted more streamlined than what they made, but it was great.
Yes,
it had everything you wanted. It actually gave you a couple advantages too. Like it told you how many dice were left in the bag, and
lovely.
Yeah, so another option available to you guys.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
One.
What's that?
I think that's the same one, actually.
Oh, is the fight? Is that where it came from? Is Fighting
Kentucky?
Kentucky?
That's where it came from.
I think you're right. Actually, good call.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, no, I appreciated whoever put that together.
He's a good
writer. If I could have figured it out, I would have done it. But who's got time for that?
Exactly.
I'm doing a podcast.
Poker chips in the bag when we played, Rick. That was the last thing I remember about doing that.
Exactly.
It worked just fine. It's not like obviously it's not as perfect, but it's still. I mean, in light of not giving each other germs, but
it left us with some awkward okay. Well, I need to go down. Okay. Well, I put my down order there. Did you take something out of the bag? Oh, hi. No.
Perfect.
Why do you have 7 chips left in the bag?
Yep.
Exactly.
It's all learning.
Now, Pat had sent some questionnaires before we all started this about the 3 questions that we were asking everybody.
Oh, yes. Yes, let's get into those.
Right,
yes, please, let's do.
We already kind of touched on the 3rd edition, and you gave us some breaking news on that one.
Right.
He's just towing the company line on that one.
Well,
all the rest of them are...
And like other things that have to go like the 9th edition, we're just, right now, Bolt Action is right where it's supposed to be. The campaign books are right where they're supposed to be. The army books are right where they're supposed to be.
Tiger here.
Yes, exactly. Tiger. And with the quarterly facts coming out,
one's about due.
One's due pretty soon, and I'll see if I can't get that kicked over here pretty quick. But Alessio and the guys at HQ are really doing a good job of catching that. And if the fact lives and it works, let's just go with that and try to have to rewrite the whole game. Now, I will say that if, and it's a big if, 3rd edition ever comes out, it'll be written such that the campaign books...
No one will understand it?
It will understand it, and the campaign books won't be affected. Campaign books will be campaign books. The only thing that I know of or was ever alluded to about 3rd edition was, and again, this is just what a year ago we talked about, was that if we did 3rd edition would streamline some of the stuff, like, from all the facts, and that there would be differences in the army. Right now, the makeup is 1 HQ, 2 squads. 1 HQ, 2 squads. Well, the German army, the Hungarian army, the Romanian army, the Russian army didn't operate that way. So there'd be more specific army list setups that we would try to look into. And if that did happen, we might have to tweak the army books a little bit. And I can hear the people screaming right now, "Oh my God, you're going down the codex." No. Warlord Games has put out Bolt Action, 8 years now? 10 years, and if this is the first time we change one of the army books besides the German army book, which needed to be changed, I think the codex creep is okay on this one. So
I am with you, John, wholeheartedly. I'm screaming for them.
Yeah.
If you were another game company, you would have had 14 versions of Chaos by now.
Amen, brother.
So I'm every once in a while when you do an edition refresh, books have to come out, man. Like things just need a little bit of rebalancing here and there, or
Yep.
Well, and it was also thought well enough ahead that the mechanics aren't generally published in the army books.
Yes.
Right? What the equipment was called is published in the army books, and then the main book has what that equipment does.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So that's nice.
You're spot on.
All right, so we can get some real tactile information that we can put out that would be
Here comes the Dale.
somewhat useful. Now, nothing is on the books currently. Based off of your experience having co-authored Korea,
thank you,
and the timeline and the process that whole thing went through, and that was a huge book. It wasn't 3rd edition, but it was still a large endeavor.
The largest book they've ever put out.
Larger than the rule book.
Amen.
When 3rd edition should it ever hit the books or get onto the board. What's a realistic timeline as to what that turnaround?
Maybe
could
2021 or 22 at the earliest. It's just
I mean, so is that an 18-month project? Is that
at least
a 24-month project?
At least, and I do like the way that we include you guys in the whole playing field. Everybody has a chance to kibitz and put in on this and cuss and discuss what we do for tradition. It's our game. And we say that kind of in the beginning, that we can do with this as we wish. Much like what we did with Black Powder, which that was a way to take Napoleonics, which usually takes 8 to 10 hours, to 4 hours, and you're done.
Right.
It's a gentleman's type. So it is truly, we truly take in the input that you guys give us, and we try to turn that around.
Okay. All right. So, for those of us out in the community that are looking for something, we've gotten the answer. We know what may potentially happen or how long it would take. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at second edition for a good
long time. And the way to tweak that is, we talked about it, I think, in what we tried before. We talked about how Tom McCready and his crew has taken Firefight, which is something that we've been working on off and on, Raiders Attack Command or whatever you want to call it, but now it's called Firefight.
It feels like it's missing a little more.
Right, and you're going to see the Libyan taxi service come out here pretty soon, which is all about the desert, and it's going to take those couple pages that we did with Firefight when we released the Stalingrad, Academy of Street Fighting, and you're going to see it expanded into 20 to 30 pages, and it's going to include into not just only the 10-man squad, but also the skill trees, a lot like your video games or what we do in the SPQR. You're going to be able to almost role play your squad through several iterations and build up. So if you want your lieutenant to be a tactician and he earns so many experience points through the battles, he'll be able to upgrade himself through the skill tree. And then we'll do this again when the Marianas Palau comes out in August, and that's going to be called Hell's Pocket. And that stuff is, again, going to be a lot of flashy pictures, a lot of cool miniatures, a lot of cool stuff for that squad on squad, one man, one order dice.
That seems like it'd be a really great starter box.
Yes,
sort of.
yes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential there, and we're going to, in the Warlord fashion, exploit all of that.
There
that's
you
your
go.
gateway. That's your gateway game into Bolt Action.
For sure.
Yep.
Except for the first one's not free, near as I can tell.
Exactly, not this time. But we're going to try to get
discounted.
Yeah. What we're going to try to do is, we've discovered in all the research that the $50 that is the turner, the click, the magic number that, oh well, hell, I'll put in $50 to see what this is, and if we can get that box into a $50 10-on-10 man kind of thing, like we did with Blood Red Skies, we did with Test of Honor, that is the magic number. That I'll try
all of
$50.
those, thank you,
dude.
Yep, and we'll try to get that so people will happily jump in, and it's an easy fix, and like you said, the gateway drug.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, thank you for finally admitting that you're doing that.
Yes, I'm called a pusher for a reason.
Never a nicer pusher. That's
Exactly.
right?
Well, thank you.
Speaking of that, I mean, just to go down nostalgia lane for a second, John, you are the reason at least Pat and I are playing Bolt Action.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. And the guys at Lead Pursuit are playing Blood Red Skies.
Oh, look at you. You are the pusher man of pusher man. I think it was 4 years ago at Adepticon?
2016 Adepticon, yeah.
Oh, 4 years ago.
Yeah. Wow.
Where we were told to speak to this guy, Jon Russell. You can't miss him. He's wearing a kilt.
That's right, Saturdays.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, he'll give you a demo of the game because we've been intrigued about it. We thought it
Which
would
we're
be
still waiting for, by the
right.
way.
Yeah, we still need a demo game.
Anytime.
Played some actual
Anytime,
games, but not any demo games. But yeah, so just the idea of that it's mind blowing that 4 years ago was when we started this.
Well,
thing,
and here's something that's really crazy. Back in 2002, I was in Germany. And I was at this German guy's house, and we're playing 40K. I know it's the other game, but me and this guy are playing 40K along with several other guys. And we're looking at each other, and there was just that, I know you from somewhere. What the hell? So we started doing that where you from kind of game. And it came down to when I was in Wichita Falls, Texas. I used to do a lot of stuff for 40K. I was an outrider. And we had done some stuff. And all of a sudden, this guy looked at me and he goes, "Where are you from?" I said, "Well, I used to live in Wichita Falls." "Oh, my God, you're that Pusher, you're the guy that did 40K. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. So, I mean, I didn't know this guy from Adam, but apparently I had done 40K, so I guess I have this in me. But, yeah, it is. I love the word, the Pusher, and we'll have some fun.
Which, by the way, if you do happen to see John at a convention and go, hey, I'm buying into this game, he will work a deal with you.
Amen, brother. I have the magic.
Because he knows that you're going to be there for several $1,000s after that.
Exactly. But, again, for $100 or
several
so
hundreds.
bucks,
We'll say several hundreds.
Several hundreds, because you can buy an army for about $200 and you're done, and compared to $1,000 for 3 guys.
Oh my gosh, for sure. And you know what? I'm doing the firefight in my head now. Like, that's going to be the greatest. Here you go. Try this. Paint some dudes. Have fun.
Well, and Rick, we talked about this. The trifecta of bolt action, firefight, cruel seas, blood red skies. If only somebody would write a game, Alessio, about how this all could integrate with each other, which we did talk about last time. And he's working, when I was in December, he's working on something with his crew about how to integrate bolt action, cruel seas, blood red skies, all this into one game that'll interact with each other. And if you don't have the time, it'll be a board game, and there'll be like gray counters and different color counters.
Let's do this.
Yeah, yeah.
When did you need play testing for that?
Exactly, and I know exactly who to call. Well, yeah, and all the counters on the table start out gray. You know, the population centers, the factories, whatever it is, and then of course the typical airplane might be Spitfires, and it might be a Mark IV tank, Panzer, or
kind of like an Axis and Allies sort of representation.
Yeah, exactly.
Generic, iconic that everyone would recognize.
Yeah, and if you don't have time to play the whole game out, all the counters on the board game will be gray, and as you take over different territories, you'll swap out your counters with that. So that's in the works as well.
Nice.
And now that we've just announced with the acquisition of Skytrex, people are like really screaming about, oh my God, you guys, Warlord has bought out Skytrex, and we're working with them to maybe delve into the 1/300 scale stuff, so you can buy the whole 2nd Panzer Division in a box and have fun with that. But that's a whole other podcast we'll talk about.
I saw that announcement. I didn't know how it fit in with things, but
yep,
I thought it was seemingly appropriate, even if I didn't understand it.
Well, and John had went to Skytrex when he started first working on Cruel Seas. He wanted to figure out how to make this. He read a book. He thought it was potential. Let's make a game about that knife fighting in the dark in a closet kind of small boat action stuff that went on everywhere in every single theater in World War II. And he went to Skytrex and said, can you make these models? I said, sure. Then he took the money out of his pocket to make these things instead of taking the budget out of the Warlord Development Project in the studio. So he took this on his own, and over 2-3 years developed Cruel Seas to what it is now. And now we have working now with Skytrex. It's just the sky's the limit.
Fantastic.
So speaking Cruel Seas, which was not, it didn't land home with me. Sorry.
That's okay.
But I hear there's another one coming out that is kind of what we thought Cruel Seas was going to be.
Victory at Sea. Yep, end of August that's going to hit, and that's and if you're fortunate enough to finally get, thank God the sluice gates have been open. War Games Illustrated latest edition has a great article on exactly what Victory at Sea is going to be. Working with the guys who Matt Sprague and the guys who eventually developed it, and with Mongoose and stuff, and they just expanded what Mongoose started. And now when it comes out at the end of August, you're going to buy the box set, and there's a pamphlet in there, which is the introduction to Victory at Sea Pacific. But then there's going to be another 2-book volume set that's going to come out later on that's going to have all the details. When the boats came back for retrofits or came back for fixing up from the battles, they had different characteristics in different battles. And even though, like, the Missouri and the New Jersey had, 16-inch guns, they operated differently, and the guys who worked on this game put that into the system. So you're going to be able to take Victory at Sea, Cruel Seas, Blood Red Skies, and Bolt Action, and just integrate it into the whole Pacific campaign.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, mind-blowing.
Right?
Yep.
Sweet. All right.
Dang it. Hang on, let me open my wallet.
Yeah, give me your credit card numbers now, and I'll send it off to you.
Here's my credit card number.
Every time.
I'm just going to I'm just going to send $200 on PayPal to Warlord.
Amen, brother.
What's Warlord stock going for right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Privately held company.
No stock yet, but we're thinking about it. We'll see what happens.
No.
Now, you guys asked me about favorite things, like favorite
Yeah,
armies.
I sent you an email earlier about some of your favorite bolt action army and stuff.
And this is where we got into the big thing with me and Dale. We talked about it, but my favorite armies to play with right now have always been the Polish, and we talked about how I got into the Poles because I wanted Polish paratroopers, and I talked to John Stoller about it, and he sent me a bunch of Polish army miniatures, so I ended up painting them and fell in love with them, and then we started doing Polish paras, and that's when we first started playtesting bolt action, and then that's when I wrote the rules for the cavalry. We went into a couple rabbit holes about yeah, exactly. I wrote the rules for the cavalry. And,
you're the Polish Lancer guy?
I'm the Polish Lancer guy, and I had so much fun with that.
I don't know if I brag about that, honestly.
Yeah. And then I said that unless
everyone, please note we are doing this remotely, or else you would hear some strangling noises on the other end.
Just gargles.
Just gargles.
And I thought unless you maybe nerfed him a little bit, but after talking to you guys,
what?
Maybe he
You
did.
nerfed him?
Yeah, he didn't nerf him.
Did they only have 7 attacks when you wrote them?
4. They only had 4 if they had
4?
the Lancers. Yeah, but now with the double attack, it's crazy. And then, of course, I'm really, really happy with my the Koreans. And Dale and I talked about how crazy it was to take a concept that I've been wanting to do for 3 years, and then Warlord did it. And then now we got nominated for an Origins Award for one of the best supplements or games of.
Wow!
Yeah,
Congratulations on even a nomination. So.
Yeah, even a nomination is just
great.
Blew me and Steve away. It's just like holy shit, but this is crazy. And but no F-bombs have been dropped yet, so mark that. But
you're fine. You're fine.
Okay, but just to be nominated was phenomenal in Blew our minds. But the KPAs are the Korean Army is just of all the things I've done in the last, let's say, 6 months. You can paint 1,000 points of the Korean People's Army, the North Koreans, in about a week. And I know that sounds crazy, but when you look at the miniatures, they are crazily detailed. But there's a ton of detail, but there's not a lot of detail. I mean, they don't have backpacks and satchels. They only have like 1 or 2 items. So you theoretically can paint 1,000 points of Koreans in about a week. And I talked about how I did the skin, which I did I used to start off with the Army Painter tan flesh, but now I've moved to the Panzer Aces flesh base. But then I do a wash of ink, of yellow ink, and let that set for a day, and then I do a Seraphim Sepia. But in 1 week, you can have literally 1,000 points of KPA, which made me start thinking about it after we talked about it last time. I'm going to put this challenge out here for the first time. By September, here's my challenge. For the first 20 people who go out to Warlord website and buy a box set of any KPA, the conscripts, the army, the command section, whatever, and if you paint them and base them, and if that is not the most fun or the most excitement you've had on a miniature in a long time and enjoyed painting them, if that is not a true statement, I will buy them from you in Warlord Games Credit online for the first 20 people who jump in by let's say September, October. And I will buy them off you and I'll get you something different. But if you swear to me that has not been the most fun you've painted miniatures in the last, let's say, 6 months, I'll buy them off you. That's my challenge.
So
you're going to have a huge army otherwise.
Amen, brother. It's the Koreans, right? But I mean, really, I've had people, before I announced this, and I'll announce it again on Wednesday, before I announced this, I said to some people like, okay, and then they go paint the Koreans, and they're like, no, man, you're right. They were fun to paint.
I'm not going to lie. I was actually looking at them online, and they actually look really fun to paint.
They are. Dude, I swear to God, I've never had that much fun to paint. And the expressions, the movement, some of the poses we have done are so dynamic that it amazes me. And they're a joy to paint. And you'll do 1,000 points in a week, roughly.
Well, I'm looking at them right now.
Right.
The new website looks really good. By the way,
Thank
I think
you.
it launched today, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, did it? I didn't even notice. But okay, yeah.
I'll paint mine and I'll be sending them to you.
Amen, brother. I love them.
And I can tell you why. I think these are all metal.
They are metal. There's no plastic. That's right. There's no plastic yet. And we still haven't got into the... And what's great about it, and me and you talked about it before, Dale, is what amazes me is, first, me and Steve are very humbled and very honored that we were able to get this Korea supplement to the folks. And the people that come up to us at the conventions around the world. People have come up to me and say, thank you for doing this. We've had Korean veterans, thank you for doing this. That last page in the book has never been done in the history of Warlord, and I hope we can continue to do that, saying thanks to our veterans.
It's a special thing. You did well.
It is. And we're still doing it, and they're still backing us, and they're still producing stuff. And we haven't even touched into the cold weather stuff that's going to come out here real soon.
That's right. I remember seeing something about winter troops being
winter
added,
is coming.
Yeah.
I will say without a doubt, these guys, like you said, you got some great poses in here. You got good variety of modeling. They look like a blast to paint.
They are, trust me. And they are my favorite. And then you asked me about my favorite armies, and I've asked about the favorite infantries or things to paint. And again, it's the KPA, or it's the special figures that we put out with our books. You know, the John Basilone, the little guy from To Kill a King. That little guy is great with the monkey on his arm. We've got, and the model that we were going to release for the Korea was one of my all-time favorites, but we ended up changing it to the Chosun Marine guy. But originally it was going to be Reckless, the female horse, and we will release her eventually. But those are my favorites to paint right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this the Chosun special figure.
Oh, he's perfect.
I really like this. He's in his winter kit, isn't he? There?
Oh yeah, and we'll do more of that, and that's what's great about the U.S. Army winter stuff. Is a lot of it's the same, and we released a bunch of new experimental rules on the 70th anniversary of the beginning of the Korean War last month. We're going to still do some more with that. Steve's working on the Marine specific list. We'll do some more stuff about VT fuses. We'll do some more stuff about the things that we weren't able to include in that massive volume that we're going to add into.
So you're talking another book?
Probably another PDF, like we did on, the guys at the headquarters did release some of the experimental rules about using your tank as artillery, night fighting equipment. We reiterated the bugle rule, and there's just more stuff. The more we read, the more we see. I just recently saw a movie called The Battle of Jangsari, which is, if you go to Amazon Prime, it's for free, and it's got Courtney Cox in it and some other big names, and it's actually written and directed by some Korean folks, and just like the Tagokgi, which we and Steve referred to a lot in the rule book, it had me crying a couple of times in the movie, and it's just like, damn, this is just too damn close, and it just shows you the dedication and the limits to the amount that the North Koreans and the South Koreans would go to, and why me and Steve put in the rule book about fanaticism between the North and South, and they fought each other because they were just truly fighting for their way of life. And that movie, along with Tug of Goose, show you why we went that far.
Nice.
Cool. And I think we talked last time too, Dale, about going to and bucket lists, and we shared bucket lists, and I said that my bucket list was to go play at 3 places. John Stollart's house, Rick Police's house, and then the Perry twins' house. And then you wanted those same things, and when you get a chance to use that Icelandic air,
let's be honest. Anyone who's familiar with those names surely has a similar kind of thing. But I mean, it would be an honor. That's and you can include Fat Bloke in that as well. Simply because
Paul,
when I was just going back through last weekend in my garage and pulling out all these old white dwarfs that that he had edited, and Alessio's popping in there. I'm still bitter about the Royal Air Force that he put into the Bretonian book. And
Dude.
Good times.
I was always curious about the White Dwarf title. Did that come from the Star, or did that come from the Caucasian Subhuman?
Probably the Caucasian Subhuman.
Okay.
So,
and they did release a couple of figures for that, and a card, I do believe, as well.
I can't remember, Pat. I don't know where that came from. There is some history of it. It's not. I don't think it's race based, but I don't exactly know.
I had always envisioned it being the Star.
Yeah.
Let's go with
Red
that.
Dwarf. Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I mean, it's just a matter of it's one of those things I never even envisioned that I'd have the opportunity to go, and you actually gave us the opportunity to go to WTC, which we're certainly
the world said no.
Incredibly grateful for.
But again,
that may have COVID may have prevented an international incident in Cork had we actually showed up. So there is that.
And again, if any of you guys
be that drunk.
you Snafu guys, any of you Snafu guys get set up, just let
At
me
least
know.
once. At least once. Just to go back to that, Pat. It's his white beard that gave him the name, the White Dwarf. Just
Okay.
FYI. He's got a name. His name is Grumbendal.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. Brindle. Yeah,
Grombrindal. There you go.
And he has a mythology. He only shows up in the direst of needs to rally the forces to victory and things like that.
He hands you a beer.
August.
Just like the Legion of the Damned. Yeah.
Maybe December.
Maybe December.
Yep.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's
Cool. And hey,
that would be amazing. I'm sure that there are a lot of folks. I mean, I've gone so far as to investigate, because the geek tours, they do tours of different places, and they have one where they set up and they go
Ross
into
does a
Nottingham.
fantastic job.
Yeah, and you can go to the places, and yeah, it's kind of a mythology of gaming, miniature gaming, probably.
Well, it's crazy how close those guys are. Within an 8-mile radius, you hit about 15 different companies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is that called? There's a name for that. It's like the
the
Pewter Alley or something.
Lead Mile. Yeah.
Lead Mile.
Lead Mile, yep. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I did a Alessio to my list, but I am super jealous of the people that you've gotten to rub elbows with, John, for sure.
Well, and it's I never think of it that way. I just think I'm a lucky guy that kind of stumbled through my whole life, ended up bumping into these guys, and I don't think back about it. I mean, one of my favorite stories to tell is back in 2016. My daughters and my wife went over to visit some of my friends in England, and during that time we were over there, we got a chance to go to John's place to play, and my eldest daughter came with me. We're in John's house, and we're playing a game of Black Powder. And my daughter is with her friend and my friends, and she's of the age that she can drink in England, so she's starting to drink some gin and tonics, and we're playing a game. We start playing.
How old does that make you feel?
Oh, I know. And what was crazy was I'm playing the British and she's playing the French, and I got the 95th rifle, so I'm trying to come on the flank, and all of a sudden, and she got this kick-ass, French cavalry unit, and she comes around the corner. I'm like, oh shit, here it comes. So I try to form square. And she runs over and just flattens me. And I look at her and I dead in the eye, and I say, look, baby, you're in John Stillard's house, you're drinking gin and tonics, and you just kicked your dad's ass in Black Powder. It will never get better than this. And she had no, you don't understand.
For you.
You're in John Stillard's house playing Black Powder, kicking your dad's ass. This is it. This is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay, whatever, Dad. But maybe someday she'll understand that.
The blasphemy.
Yeah. It's such a great time. And John's got a great place to play, and he's got a lot of inert weapons. And John's favorite, his Achilles tendon is the Zulu Wars. And he's been down to South Africa several times, and he's got the Ashanti shield and some stuff there. And my daughter was picking up the shield and taking pictures, and he's got inert MG42s and Stems and MP40s and just Lewis, just crazy stuff. And she's taking pictures of all this stuff. I'm like, you just, maybe someday you'll understand what you've got, experienced.
Yeah.
This is just it right here.
That's all right. Well, if you're ready to adopt me, let me know.
Amen, brother.
And I'll respond in a much more favorable manner, I'm sure.
Well, when you're ready to burn this Icelandic airfare, just let me know. We'll sync up, and I'll take you on a tour of
all right, that sounds good. Let's figure something out. I think
still hoping my voucher shows up someday.
Yes.
Yes. If anyone from Aer Lingus is listening,
I love it.
What the heck? I don't right now.
Yeah.
I'm still nervous, just like Pat is.
I'm still out $880 freaking bucks. So
they'll get you. They'll get you. Aer Lingus is great.
Eventually they will. Hopefully, yes. I'm sure. Maybe. I'm not sure.
But you know what? If all this ends and all I'm out is several $100, then and I'm still through this, then whatever.
Right. You don't have Corona.
Right.
Yeah. Hey,
Yes.
did you got the WTC shirt, right? our team shirts?
Yeah.
You still get. So there.
Yeah.
Well,
I've taken
We were a team.
Yeah, and talking about tournaments and stuff, we're starting to. I'm very excited about probably in the fourth quarter, late third quarter, fourth quarter this year. We're going to start coming out with the bolt action tournament circuit. Now, I've been talking about this a lot, but now we've got the full power and impetus behind from the headquarters. Stores will be involved, and starting probably in October-ish, we'll start having the bolt action tournament. There's going to be 10 sectors, I call them sectors, and those sectors are fed by zones, and the front line is always fluid, so that means that the states that feed into these might change. Nothing's locked because we all know that the front line is fluid. There'll be some specific regional events, so you have to go to a local game store or local tournament that you're in your area, and we'll be announcing all this here real soon. And if you qualify at that level, you'll be at the regionals, and there's 5 states in the lower 48 that have a regional event that'll happen, and all accumulate in the nationals, invitation only, at Adepticon next year, and there'll be 60 slots that you can earn. It's not you can go play; you have to be invited to come. And again, this is a thing that we've been working on for the last 4 years that finally have become. It's getting up there. We've got the demo packs or the participation packs. We just got to get the pamphlets and the scenario packs.
Did you hear that, Rick? We got to get a lot better at bolt action.
Yeah. Well, and I would love to include Renegade and Snafu as one of the events that leads into the regionals. The regionals up in the thinking area will be around Illinois, but again, that's this year. Okay. Next year it'll be flexible.
So, John, is there going to be a standardized rule set?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. They'll be supported and unsupported. Bolt action and games works, and all the games that you guys play and work at. Warlord will never tell you how to play bolt action because it is your game. It's your how to fun. But if you want to do in the tournament circuit that we're talking about, there's going to be supported and unsupported. To be supported, has to be a minimum of at least 10 players, 3 rounds, 1,000 points, up to 1,250, and you'll do 2 hours, and boom. That just stops the Bob, Tom, and George from playing in the garage and say, okay, you went first this year, next weekend, and that just makes it at least a minimum, a standardization of how this tournament circuit is going to be. Okay. All this feeds into the regionals. The regionals, again, are invitation only of all the lower events, and it all kind of like pinnacles into a pyramid type thing of nationals in Chicago in March of next year, 2021. So yes, it's going to be kind of quick and fast, but we got to start somewhere. So like Patton says, a plan executed is better than no plan at all. So here we go. More stuff to follow. We do have some convention tournament packs set up for bolt action and blood red skies, but bolt action will be our emphasis at first, and then as we change, it'll be fluid because the front line is fluid, and we'll move this around and add or subtract. We'll have 8 sectors in the United States and 2 sectors in Canada, and because of the geography, even though 50 divided by 10 or 8 is 5, it's hard to group 5 states around certain geographic areas. So it's going to be more of how the stores line up, how the conventions line up. For example, up in around Colorado, Genghis Khan in February will be the regional event for that area. But then, maybe Siege of Augusta down in Georgia might be the regional event for that. So anybody who's listening to this and needing a favorite game stores, contact me, and we'll set you up and we'll try to get you in the circuit.
And How do they contact you?
My email address is jon.russell@warlordgames.com, john.russell@warlordgames.com. Or you can call me at 406-579-7704. Yes, I'm giving you my personal cell phone number, 406-579-7704. You can call me and we'll hook you up.
Back in episode 40, we felt guilty about that, but now we know you give it away every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday, yep.
So I took my phone and I'm like, oh, no, that's his actual number. Okay.
Yep,
he's
that's
just making stuff up.
Not a weird Google phone number or anything.
Yep.
I'm like, I text John all the time, at least 2, 3, 4 times a week, and I'm
yes,
like, no, that's the number he's giving out. Okay, well, he's really doing that.
All right. Did we answer all the questions on our questionnaire, Pat?
We did. John, did you cover everything you wanted to cover in your end?
Yes, you come on down to TwisterCon. We're having it. Yes, the convention's going on. It's amazing to me the anima,
not anima. Please, not anima.
Yeah, no.
Don't hand those out there. That's not going to work for anyone.
The people that just come on. We're going to have a convention. I don't care If it's 10 people showing up, we're going to have a convention. We have 9,000 square feet. We got over 10 vendors, over 30 events. I've been coerced to bring out my Operation Chariot table. Yes, I have a bolt action 28 millimeter Operation Chariot St. Nazaire raid that we're going to have fun with.
Cool.
And we're going to do something special for Korea. It's just it's going to be fun to see some folks. We got over 15 vendors now, and we have a cash alcohol bar, of course, on Saturday to take care of any of your innards for sanitation to make sure you're all cleansed and stuff like that.
Right,
but,
yep, that'll help.
Jay comes up and he runs a great. We have over what was it? I think 20 tables of bolt action for the tournament. Check us out on Tabletop Events, Twisted Lords. Check us out. We're there. This is our 7th year that we've been doing this, and it's the only real Warlord Games backed tournament and convention that we do. We go over to the 45th Infantry Museum, specialized tour, just us and the main curator have the whole place to ourselves for 2 hours. It is a lot of fun. We've got guys driving from New Hampshire, Wyoming, Nebraska. It's just
nice.
It's a chance to have some good times. Yes, we'll have masks. Yes, we'll have hand wash stations. But we're going to have some fun, damn it. And we got some swag bags from Litco and from Twench Works is going to give us some stuff.
Well, I can't make it there, John, but you can send one of the swag bags up here.
I think we'll be able to do that. I think we're going to take care of that. Again, you guys have always been awesome. I love supporting you guys, and whatever I can do for you guys, you got my phone number, and like Pat says, you can text me anytime.
Literally anytime except for 11 a.m. Wednesday Central Daylight Time, and don't bother him Thursday afternoon.
Thursday afternoon, but some people I'll let, like you, Pat. I'll go and answer you on Thursdays.
Yeah, I know. Then you go like, "Hey, it's Thursday." I'm like, "Oh crap, sorry."
And then we talk for like half an hour.
Right? No, we talk for half an hour.
Exactly.
Yes,
exactly. It's fantastic. I love it.
All right. John, again, thank you from the bottom of our heart for not only getting us into bolt action, but joining us on our podcast.
Anytime, brother.
And all the little things and nuggets you've given us over in the last 3 years. I see the number of episodes Pat's talked about. He's always dropped some knowledge or piece that he's probably, hopefully he's never gotten his hand slapped for, but, we still appreciate it if you have.
It's my pleasure.
Appreciate everything. So,
and of course, when that board game testing comes
brother.
out, let us know. Let us know if you need some.
And if Alessio really feels the need to just be like, can Snafu write 3rd edition?
Dude, I tell you, it's funny to talk to Alessio in his office. I came in there.
That sounds like a horrible idea.
Oh,
Rick.
it is.
Oh my god.
Well, Rick, I tell you, it was just crazy. I walked into Alessio's office. I said, Alessio, I don't understand it. People are talking to me about Korea, and I'm like, what's on this page number? Did you read this page number? And he just started laughing, and he grabbed a coffee cup. I swear to God, he grabbed a coffee cup off his desk, and he pointed at it, and it had RTFM on the coffee cup. Read the fucking book, and it's just like, and he says, welcome to becoming a game designer. People don't read the book, but they ask you about all this extra stuff. Well, didn't you? And Alessio's such a great guy. I enjoy my talks with him, and I'll talk to him next time I see him about you guys.
No, I'm joking. Dude, I'm the guy that came up with the idea that sounded good to play a tournament with no points and just dice order.
Oh, yeah.
And everyone hates the idea, so...
No, we've got lots of great ideas for 3rd edition.
Oh, you don't even have to talk 3rd edition. I can just talk about how bolt action came to be.
Here's
love
the
the
coolest.
history.
Yeah, here's the coolest thing that I've discovered. Well, I've discovered the impression that I've gotten from following Alessio over the years. He started out very similar to how most of us do, I guess. He was a pretty competitive. He was an ultra competitive guy.
Yes.
Win at any cost.
Yes.
And so and following the rules that he's written over the years and things like that, and then listening to him talk about when Bolt Action first came out, and he's talking about the game, and then his interviews over the years, and his most recent interviews on the Warlord Games podcast, he's mellowed out significally.
Yes.
But there's still a little bit of that
competitiveness.
Yeah. So it's really kind of interesting.
Yep.
We all get older, and things kind of shift a little bit. So I think it would be really interesting to sit down and kind of to talk with those guys and things like that. And I think we've got some good ideas for maybe what could happen.
Sure. Why not?
We'll have to send those things in, just like hopefully everyone else is doing.
Which was one of the questions you guys had asked me about what was my favorite unit. And we talked about me liking the Chinese Grenadiers, and why I liked them because we had changed for the first time in, like Pat just said, 10 years. We pushed the boundary for bolt action, and those guys only have grenades, which is something we've always talked about. But the Chinese Grenadiers only have grenades, so how do we put that into the game? And Alessio and I and Paul Sawyer and Steve Smith all went round and around, and we finally came up with, we'll treat them just like pistols. And that's what's great about Tom McCready in Firefight, using grenades and becoming a viable item or strategy instead of just putting it into the assault.
Right, yeah. I mean, the individual pieces of equipment, I mean, it's a different scale. I mean, it's 28 millimeter, but the scale of the game is different. So,
Amen.
Right.
Yeah. Yep. Gotta agree.
Yep.
All right. Well,
Let's do this again.
Absolutely. Before episode 100, for sure.
Amen.
Maybe another 3 or 4 times before then.
Well, at least this November when they come up for Renegades, right?
Or November or January, whenever
it is, I'll be there.
Whenever we come up, whether there's Renegade or not,
yes,
we'll sit down.
Yes.
Right. Exactly. Anyway, we appreciate it. Thank you. Have a great evening. We got to get Jeff on the line for the next little piece of it.
Yes, Jeff is next.
Little piece. I'm going to go.
Thanks, guys.
I'm going to go drink about another 16 glasses of rum, and I'll be back. I'll be back in a couple.
You're on
minutes.
point. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Again, love you guys. Everybody should listen to Snafu.
Yes.
Thanks, John.
Thank you, John.
Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye, man.
Probably Thursday.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break and come right back.
You should see me out in France, wearing my tin hat. Mid-shot and shell, it's worse than, well, it's even worse than that. Now imagine me in the Maginot Line, sitting on a mine in the Maginot Line. Now it's turned out nice again, the army life is fine. French girls make a fuss of me. I'm not French if you can see, but I know what they mean when they say wee wee down on the Maginot Line. Now imagine me in the Maginot Line, sitting on a mine in the Maginot Line. Now it's turned out nice again, the army life is fine. The enemy we had to chase, but my gun got out of place. I went and shot the colonel in the base, down on the Maginot Line. Maginot Line, sitting on a mine in the Maginot Line. Now it's turned out nice again, the army life is fine. At night myself to sleep I sing, to my old tin hat I cling. I have to use it now for everything, down on the Maginot Line. Now imagine me in the Maginot Line, sitting on a mine in the Maginot Line. Now it's turned out nice again, the army life is fine. Suddenly a pain I felt, a doctor on my tummy knelt. He slapped a poultice underneath me belt, right on the Maginot Line. Maginot Line, sitting on a mine in the Maginot Line. Now it's turned out nice again, the army life is fine. Hitler can't kid us a lot, his secret weapons Tommy Rod. You ought to see what the sergeant's got, down on the Maginot Line, down on the Maginot Line.
John asked us to talk a little bit about Twisted Lords Con on
July
24th and 26th.
Yep, we caught that.
So, yeah, he discussed it a little bit, and before we kind of move on from that, I want to make sure that we mention it. I'm not personally going to say one way or the other whether you should attend it or not. That's totally up to you. But John certainly seems excited about it. So if you're interested,
it's like his backyard.
Yeah. Then certainly, check that out and see if it works out for you.
Right. It's bolt action with other people. Like, if you feel comfortable, man, I can't imagine anything better.
I've heard the swag bags are just freaking phenomenal.
Right.
Dude, I can't imagine when Warlord supports
I mean, it's like their event in the States.
Yeah, for sure. So if you can attend and you feel comfortable, like Dale said, please do. If not, we totally understand. We're in a really weird world right now.
U.S. is doubly so.
Right, considering we can't go anywhere outside of the United States right now.
Turns out you can't quarantine stupid.
For sure. Wear your fucking mask, dude. That's all I'm going to say.
It doesn't hurt. I mean, also, hey, put on shoes while you're at it. Too.
Right, and it's not even a political statement. It's just wear a mask.
Courtesy. It's a courtesy thing saying, hey, you know what, I respect that we're in this together, and I do that for you.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, do it for us.
Considering how World War II...
I'm fucking old, so...
No, and... Well, even... I've said this before. I don't know if I've said this in a podcast before, but it's like, if we were ever asked to do what World War II era United States was asked to do, we'd be in a very different world. I don't think people are comfortable with the idea of the shit that people had to do in World War II.
Actually sacrificing something.
Yes, we have very little sacrifice. If wearing a mask is all I have to do, I will wear a mask. Mm-hmm. For sure.
If it does nothing, and all I have to do is wear it.
Right.
But if it turns out that it does something, and all I have to do is wear it, kind of no-brainer on that one.
It really is a no-brainer. It's not even,
should be,
and it shouldn't be a political statement. It's not a political statement in my opinion. We should all be doing what we can to do what we can.
Yeah, and to follow up with what Rick has said, and because we're generally on different sides of the political strike.
You and I for sure.
Yeah. I'm with Rick on this. Listen, if I can wear a mask and it helps my family and Rick's family and Rick, then I will, without question, 100% do that.
Yep.
So I'm with Rick, and I think Rick is with me on this one. So, and it may not make a difference, but you know what? In case it does, I'm going to do that for Rick and his family and my family and your family.
Right.
Yep.
It's really is the Pascal's wager, right? It doesn't matter if it exists or not, but really it's dumb not to wear a mask at this point. So please be safe. Please be conscious of others. Please be empathetic of others. That's really the statement I have to say about it. I'm going to get
and
my
please
soapbox.
Listen to Snafu podcast.
Right. Keep listening if you can. If you can't, I understand.
Comment to us. Send us messages on Facebook. We
maybe not about masks.
Not about politics, about bolt action.
Yeah,
for
if
sure.
this stuff goes on for another year, we'll start making Snafu masks.
I will definitely make that happen. My wife will start fucking sewing them. She's been sewing masks like nobody's business. So, and yeah, we're all in this together.
Actually, I'd like to see the Snafu face shield, where it's just a big star over your face on that plastic thing.
You and Jeff and Dale can get on that because I don't have a 3D printer at this point. Although my new laid out floor plans have a resin printer available.
Score.
That's
right.
some next level shit right there.
But that is definitely
51,
that's definitely some next level shit.
53,
all right. So let's thank you, John, for joining us, Paul for joining us, and
hopefully
everyone for joining us.
In particular, our patrons as well.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd also like to throw out some of the other guests in the past. I'd like to say, hey, Mark Dewey Cat, thank you for having us on. The episode that Jeff decked out on while we were talking to Dewey Cat about 3D printing, Jeff was putting his 3D printer together.
Yeah, I'm sneaky like that.
And also Jesse, who did a bunch of Soviet stuff for us.
Yep, he jumped in on 2 different episodes to talk about Soviets and fill in for Jeff and Dale at one point.
And whatever army he wants us to cover, we haven't covered Belgians.
No, Bulgarians. I'm sure that's what he wanted.
That's
must
what
have been them.
Yes, it was Bulgarians.
We'll get to that before 100.
We'll do Norway first,
for sure.
or Dutch.
we appreciate everything that has contributed to our success at episode 50 for sure.
And to 50 more, guys, raise your glasses.
Cheers! I'm drinking water at this point. So
I'm a wider
Got
as
some
well.
lukewarm bourbon cream here.
Ooh, gross. Milk is a
That
bad
feels good in the
choice.
tummy. Both ways.
That stuff's actually really good with root beer, by the way.
Yeah, for fuck sure.
I believe that.
Oh, for
At the
sure.
next Auto Break weekend.
When is that going to happen?
I look forward to you sharing that with me, Jeff.
I will bring a big couple bottles of it.
2023.
Awesome.
No, I mean, if we all quarantine for 2 weeks, we can do another weekend away.
So, heads up, my wife works for the University of Minnesota Pediatric Clinic, and one of her coworkers just tested positive on Monday.
Oosh.
So she was tested on Monday and hasn't gotten the results back yet. But
Yep.
if she does test, whatever, in 2 weeks, it should certainly be more than enough time for us to go in the fall sometime. So heads up.
Yep. Hope she's okay.
Seeing as we can't leave the fucking country, I'm all board for a weekend away, for sure.
Yeah, so anyone listening, we do an Auto Break weekend. Let us know if you're interested.
You're not invited.
And by Auto Break, we mean our local
I think the
gaming
U.S.
club.
is allowing people in, just no one out. So, Pim, come on over.
Pim, join us. You'll never leave the country again.
I'd hate for us to be pegged with what screws the Netherlands. So
yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we're not allowed to leave our country yet. So
yeah.
Well, and also no one who's in the country is allowed to leave our country either. So,
Yeah,
ways to go to
what?
other countries.
Yeah, what?
You can drive around all the states you want to, but nonetheless. Okay, let's move on.
We can go to North Dakota if we want. I'm looking for my fucking agenda, and I lost it. All right, here we go.
Well, do we want to do our greatest hits? Our
Yeah.
favorite
That's where we're
bolt
headed
action
now.
rule?
All right, thank you, John, for your contribution.
Yeah,
you
John
restarting?
and Paul both.
Yes.
Obviously, they both make it in. So
Pat, this is going to be a fucking mess, dude. I'm not going to lie.
Why would episode 50 not be the culmination of the mess of all previous 49 episodes?
Yes, it
10
is.
was pretty bad, but it all made it in. So
It did. All right. So we decided we would talk about our greatest hits. So we've 49 other episodes. We've had lots of things happen. 3 snafus,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
3,
First one was the 1 day, and then we had 2 days.
and some Friday events as well in there.
Yep.
So we've had a good number of things happen within. I would say good things happen, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's talk about some of the good things that happened in 50 episodes. We've had multiple tournaments. We've had 50 episodes. Jesus, dude.
You're on
That's-
repeat now, Rick.
Right? I'm just
it's okay.
in a loop at this point.
It's like,
We're allowed a little bit.
Right?
Someone bumped the needle and Rick is stuck.
you guys are killing me. Oh, this thing's not going to be up before August.
We'll have
Episode 51 will come out before episode 50.
Right,
Very,
right.
time machine-esque.
Well, blame Dale for drinking.
Oh, my
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
I'm
Hey,
drinking
Rick,
water.
why don't you tell me your favorite Operation Snafu moment?
Ooh, selling out Snafu 1 was
In
my
less than 2 days.
in record time. In my
Yes.
opinion, was
Okay.
the pinnacle moment for me in Operation Snafu. I love the idea of designing these new ideas around what you guys are putting together. For sure.
Okay.
I will echo Rick's in that regard because I don't have a large part in designing the scenarios or the boards or the stuff that you, Pat, and you, Jeff, put together. But seeing that sell out as quickly as it did actually made me feel like I was a part of something that was bigger than myself and was actually really, really awesome.
I for sure felt accomplished because of that. Like, it felt like our podcast became something more than just a podcast, and it became an event as well. And
Over half of which never heard of our podcast.
which is fair. Didn't matter, right? Like, I'm sure all of those people, as a result of
have regretted listening to our podcast.
Right, both, right.
When Pim came all the way over from the Netherlands,
That was very cool.
That was an achievement in itself, too, was when we had an international traveler for our event. That's
crazy and insane, and probably the worst decision, or one of the worst decisions of his life. In any event,
hopefully, it doesn't feel that way.
I mean, it really.
Down at us.
I mean, well, but that's a testament to all the work that you and Jeff put in, and I love that I got to ride along with that.
To be fair, Dale, you put together some amazing boards.
Yep.
Well, I mean, we all put into it, but I mean, that's not to say that. I mean, we don't. I mean, rather, we all do what we can, in our own capacities, but we still recognize those that put in, the most effort. And in my opinion, that certainly, as far as Operations Snafu goes, Pat and Jeff respectively. So
yes,
I always really enjoy seeing what they come up with.
So, thanks, Dale. You got one, Jeff?
Yeah.
This is a toss-up for favorite moments. It has to be a toss-up between every time I watch someone play the partisan scenario.
That will be a scenario forever, right?
It's just too much fun.
Having John Stentz bitch about fucking partisan it's quite honestly the best thing in my life.
It's so fun.
It's so good.
It really is a brilliant scenario.
It is.
Well done.
Although I will say the 3 scenario, I can't remember what it's called. The pseudo war machine scenario is really good too.
The artillery pit?
No.
You're talking about the timely objectives.
Timely objectives, yes.
Yeah. Yep.
And if that is not an objective in version 3, it should be.
Yeah.
For sure.
I like it.
Yeah, it's so good.
That one was submitted to Jon Russell for the overall competitive tournament pack.
And if it's not, it should be. Because it is a very competitive list.
It was.
Or a competitive scenario.
It was.
Yeah. All right.
I like that one.
So, Jeff, what
was the toss-up between?
The toss-up's that, and I forgot the 2 players on the table, but watching that fucking Tiger tank at Austin Powers on the Pegasus Bridge was a
It was Matt Peterson and
Eric Jacobson.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see how you turn that thing around.
That was on Pat's Pegasus Bridge board.
Yeah,
that was the first
right in the middle of the damn bridge.
But he's just fucking stuck right in the middle.
Our very first Operations Center.
Oh, so good.
Oh, that was great.
Let's see how you turn this around.
Bruins calling in an airstrike that landed on himself, and a second airstrike that also landed on himself.
Yeah,
pretty good. Too.
I'm pretty sure Kevin Bruins doesn't play bolt action anymore. Unfortunately,
no, that was his only.
That might have been hit, but
Eric Hagan did that repeatedly.
Yeah, well, it's because he plays US. Not anymore, but he was playing US.
Yeah, in the last 2,
I've got 2, and
yes, please.
So the first one was our last Snafu, Paul Gronkowski, who hit the... Wow, I butchered the crap out of that.
Yeah, you got it. Close enough.
Paul G, as we like to call him.
Yes.
Was wandering around between... I think it was between turns 3 and 4, and saw the Hell's Highway objective table and realized that it had a preparatory bombardment for the attacker, and started yelling at the rest of the Allied players that who didn't tell us that this had didn't have a preparatory bombardment on it, because we need to get a British player on this every time. What the hell are you guys thinking? He started yelling at everyone on his team that no one had told him that this was there and they need to put a British player on it because they get to roll 2d6 to prep bombardments.
Yeah, that sounds like Gensowski.
Sounds like a Paul moment.
Well,
the other one is Jon Ross playing on the airfield table and not realizing that flamethrowers could catch buildings on fire as he burnt down the objective table for the second time in the tournament.
Like, oh shit.
It resulted in him going from potentially first place to down to third place in the tournament.
Oh, sad days.
And he's like, what? It does what? I said, yeah, it burns the ground. What happens then? I said, well, it's a draw. He's like, well, I don't want to do that. I said, well, you should have figured that out beforehand.
And for those still listening, Jon Ross is a part of the U.S. WTC team. So
Team 2.
Team
Yep.
two.
Yeah.
Well, one of the
Whatever.
At this point,
Yeah.
one of the teams.
one of the teams.
But
The conglomerate
Rick
of
Kim and I were supposed to have spent the night in the castle in Ireland for that great weekend. That would have been
Three of us
awesome.
were on team,
such
quote
a
unquote,
dream,
team one.
such a dream moment between Pat and I that we missed out on.
Yeah, the romance is gone.
Yeah, it's over for now, and we'll have another Roadhouse moment for sure.
And if anyone from Aer Lingus listens, I still haven't got my voucher
Right?
yet.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I'm screwed on that one.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm out $700 for sure.
Air Iceland, I'd like to extend my appreciation for having my voucher in place for the next.
Right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've gotten
like 300 days. So
I'm pretty sure I've gotten like 700 like promotional emails, but not
Yes.
my
I
voucher
filled out
email.
every form I could click on from everything, and I've still gotten like no acknowledgement that I exist.
Right,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they're like, can you just sign up for another fucking another plane ticket we can deny you of?
Right?
well,
Hey,
for
so
my
the
part,
next pandemic is coming with the upgrade
Right.
to swine flu next year. Would you
Right.
like to
Yeah.
get a plane ticket before that?
Right? Would you like a voucher for
If-
something we won't send you an email about?
if anyone knows of a sweet bolt action tournament that Aer Lingus will provide service
I'm
to
gonna-
within
I'm
the next 300 days, please let me know.
Pretty
because
sure I'm going to fly
I would
into
be all over
Ireland. I'm pretty sure I'm going to fly into Ireland to fly to France for Bastogne. Like, I'm not going
Pretty
to
sure
lie.
I'm swimming to Ireland at this point.
Right?
But
I'm pretty sure we'll get shot out of the air at this point.
all right, let's move on.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Let's talk about... So we're talking about favorite ideas. My job is to bring us all back. So I'm going to bring us back to favorite bolt action rules. We didn't...
Besides the order dice thing in the bag,
Right, because
Yeah.
I think we can all agree that is the thing that brings us to bolt action is the kind of ambiguous idea of who goes next,
yep.
right?
And the complete tilt you go on, you're like, are my dice even in that
Right?
bag?
Do I have dice?
Son
Yeah.
of a
Do I have any dice left at all? I mean, what's going on
I'm
here?
pretty sure I have 17 dice in the bag, and you've drawn 4. What the fuck?
And you have 8.
Right, yeah, exactly. So what is our favorite rules of bolt action? I don't know if I have I don't know if I want to start this.
After,
Right.
After the dice bag, that's hard.
Dice, the order action dice is
I'll go
the
first.
key. All right, Pat.
Snap to action.
That's a good one.
That is a good one.
I like that one.
For
Absolutely
sure.
freaking brilliant. I grossly underutilize it, but I really think a good play style towards that you can really lend that to your advantage,
Sure.
especially
Yeah.
especially when version 3 alleviates the need for the lieutenant to be replaced by the captain or the major.
Oh, hang on. You're wish listing version 3 that we really don't know anything about.
We-
We actually don't, but we like to say things like that. 'cause
Right.
Eventually, they'll just give in and do it for us.
Right.
Yeah, we
Alessio-
really don't
Alessio
know anything
listens.
about it.
Alessio listens. Shh.
But no,
Or
the
Paul
snapped
Walker
action I
is.
think the snapped action is great.
It is a great rule. I'm not going to
So
lie.
that's mine.
For me, it's the pin.
The pin mechanic.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
so,
a pin game. It's
yeah.
not a casualty game. It's a pin game. That's all
Right,
different.
right.
Yep.
So the idea of I shoot at you, even if I don't wound you, I'm still doing something to affect your unit.
Yep.
Makes a huge. It's impactful in the game, right?
Yep.
So regardless of whether or not I wound you, I'm still doing something.
Yes.
Is huge.
Yeah.
Dale, Jeff, are those still yours?
No, Jeff, you want to go first? Or you want me to go?
You better go, because mine was the pin mechanic. Now I got to think of something else.
You know what? For me,
That's why I went first.
Yeah,
It
right.
ends-
That's why I went second.
After the first and the second, as proposed by Pat and Rick, for me
Breathing
it's
machine gun.
It isn't. It's the veteran versus regular versus inexperienced mechanic.
So your troop,
Um,
your troop level.
Troop quality.
Somewhat,
for sure.
in that it is standardized across all army lists. It is easy to understand, easy to implement, and so it makes it kind of universal, and it automatically puts you into, all right, so what are the value of these troops? I think that's a good rule.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Points per effectiveness. Veterans the best.
for sure. But the idea of
So a veteran at 13 points isn't worth almost 2 inexperienced.
Yes.
Anyways,
it can be.
And that's an interesting debate to have, which I think we've had over the course of 49 episodes.
Right.
And possibly the next 49.
Right.
Cheers.
I think that's a good rules. Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff.
Jeff is always the good guy to lead this conversation.
Well, let's preface this by saying the first 3 rules are my favorite rules, but following on to those, I really like the artillery and mortar observers, because a lot of war games you play tabletop, your indirect firing weapons have to still have straight line of sight to ever shoot, and that's just not really how you would ever use them in the military. You always have somebody observing and calling in, so your guns are out of line of sight. So I really like that rule and on the tabletop.
So like
Also,
spotters and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Some of the most fun moments is when you roll that 6.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, for sure.
Spotters are infantry, by the way.
And, for sure. Yeah. Thanks, Pat. Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
Thanks, Pat.
And that adds to the list of the most common phrases said in the episodes.
If I could call you Ken, I would, for sure.
Ouch. That hurts a little,
No,
Rick.
I'm sorry. It wasn't.
I'd like to talk to your manager.
Thanks, Karen. I'll give you a hug when I can, whenever I can, if I can. I'll wear a mask.
Snafu.
Right?
So it's all going to happen.
In January or
Just put on that gimp suit, you can hug each other then.
there's our spacesuits.
Oh, all right. That took a while for that one to come out. That's not
right.
what she said. Move on.
Moving along. Our favorite bolt action unit. Well, did we talk about moment?
Yes.
Yes, about 10 minutes ago.
Did we? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Wow. So favorite unit.
I'm not even taking that one out.
So I weigh this between me of like what unit is the coolest model to paint versus best unit to paint, or like that's the same thing.
So
This is Snafu over and out.
Snafu over and out. Favorite model to paint or best unit
For
to
those
play?
of you not drinking at home, I recommend you do this about 10 minutes before.
Aloha.
Island drink.
Yeah, right.
Episode 45.
Shit, we're like 7 hours in, right? So your favorite model to paint or your favorite model to play with?
It says in the game.
What?
So pick
Bolt
one or
action.
the other.
Right. I kind of weigh this both ways, right? Like to me, Gerbishjagers are like the model.
Grossly mispronounced.
However you pronounce
Hey,
that.
it took how late in the episode to mispronounce
Yeah,
something?
fair.
Awesome.
I've offended
Gerbishjagers.
Gerbishjagers.
That's bourbon cream up my nose.
well,
That was just as close.
Oh,
that is classic Snafu, right?
Yeah,
there.
right.
oh God.
Jesus.
Belbosa.
I need another fucking drink, you guys.
Yeah.
Jesus.
What? Well, you're not drinking water? Shit,
Are you nuts?
my water bottle's empty right now. Shit.
Well, you know how to refill it. Move on.
Yeah. All right. So it's whether or not it's the model you want to like paint, or if it's the best model you can put on the table. Because a Gaz is pretty fucking amazing.
It is, yeah.
They do in a pinch.
They do in a pinch for sure, or a Katusha,
Especially, yeah, I mean, yeah. They're both amazing.
right?
Gaz
So
has his weakness.
well, they all have their weaknesses, right? It's how you overcome those weaknesses. But so, Jeff, what's your favorite unit?
Oh, wait. So after all that leaking, you're going to actually say...
No way.
Nails it up.
I don't know if I have. Oh, I just told you all mine. Katusha or Gaz. Those are them.
All right, so for Rick, it's Katusha or the Gaz. All right.
Well, it's the min-maxing, right? It's you get a lot of fucking dice for
So
what,
we're
60 points?
combining favorite unit in the game and
It's-
favorite warlord model, correct?
it's up to you, Rick. I mean, whatever you want it to be.
To me,
You know,
favorite
by definition of favorite, you can only pick one, right?
favorite warlord models are the Geiberschager. I can't even pronounce it at this point. The friggin' German Mountain Division. Whatever
Blah,
they
blah,
are.
blah, blah.
At least you didn't say German mountain goat.
Yeah.
Okay.
German Mountain Goats. The German Mountain Goats are my favorite models to paint because they look amazing.
And they really do.
They are amazing models.
That's a fair distinction.
Right.
What do you love from a modeling perspective versus what do you love in the game? Okay.
Metal models, Dale.
They suck, but that's different. That's something else. So,
Right.
All right, since you tossed it over to Jeff,
Right.
what do you think, man?
I think Rick's wrong.
No,
You think Rick's
no,
wrong?
no,
What?
because I've got 2 squads of the Gebirgsjäger, and I really enjoy.
I think they're the best models.
They're gorgeous models to paint.
Infantry models, for sure.
Infantry models.
Are they
I'm
your
gonna-
favorite models?
No.
Okay.
the
Fighting words.
but
All right.
but close because they're in the same army. The Winter SS guy box
Yeah.
that Warlord makes.
All right.
Okay.
Great kit to paint.
The winter. I'm not even sure the winter. They're not winter, are they? The Nightjager,
Nachtjager.
Nachtjager. Yes.
Knox.
The
Jesus, I'm drunk. I can't pronounce it, but it. God, this is so bad.
it's
Knox.
so good.
Honestly,
I'm not cutting any of this.
No, you
no.
shouldn't. No, you
they're
shouldn't.
a
If
couple
you've
of them
listened
wearing
this far,
long cloaks.
For this
so-
long, you deserve it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're not strictly winter camo. I just painted mine that
No,
way.
right. But that kit, like that set, that have the IR
Yep,
on the top of the Panzer,
yep.
freaking stellar.
Yeah, it looks great.
Is that a recent kit or is that one of the older
No,
ones?
it's a couple of years old, but
Yep.
still super good.
Yeah, it's you get the Uhu, which is the half track with the giant IR spot in
Yep.
the back. You get a
Yep.
Panther with an IR spot on the turret,
So good.
and then you get 5 bros with assault rifles with the big ARs on them
Yes.
or IRs on them. Yeah,
So good.
No, it's a great kit. It's super fun to paint. I've got all that jazz.
All right.
Of course you do.
So from
Well,
that's
they're
from
cool.
a kit perspective. So
Yep.
how about your favorite unit? in the
United
game
States Marine Corps with an integrated flamethrower.
Hoorah!
Is that the Pine? Is that a
That is my
Pioneer
absolute
squad?
favorite. It's an U.S. engineer squad with a
Engineers,
flamethrower.
Okay.
I just
Regular
use my
veteran.
Marines. They're pretty good regular veteran if I've got the points.
So they have both
Sure.
options. Okay, all right.
They do.
There's never the points. The points always run out.
Well,
because
when
they
you can
do
have
matter.
5 fucking flamethrowers,
Yeah.
regular.
Yeah, most engineer squads are automatically veterans. So
Yeah.
is that unique? The U.S. have a regular
By the books, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. By default, that is
Yep.
Nice.
the only regular flamethrowers you can get.
Yeah, they're fantastic for their points.
Yeah.
Just a great unit. And the Marine kit's fun to paint, you know, I mean,
I did not have as much fun in any Warlord model as I did a Marine.
yep.
Oh, nice.
There's so much variable and flavor and stuff to go there.
All right.
Yep.
All right, Pat Gurkha. How about you, Gurkha? Where are you at on the Gurkha on this front, Gurkha?
Pat Gurkha.
Actually, I'm going to surprise you.
Oh,
Because the Gurkha models are
they're
metals.
They're
and
hot shit. I'm not gonna
Is
lie.
it a Pat Chindit thing?
No, so the Gurkha models I don't
Maori.
care for. The metals, they're not good. Honestly, the most enjoyable model to put together and paint is the Cromwell.
Okay,
All right.
all right.
And
that, yeah.
you know, from a point standpoint, I realize it's the 205 points is the same as one of the Shermans, but they just look much sharper, have better detail. The Warlord has a great kit with them, and they're awesome. And then best model to play is the Machine Gun Stuart Spam.
What?
Because they're pretty fucking cool.
What did you say?
Machine Gun Stuart Spam.
Oh,
Thank you.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No recce straight up.
No Recce
23
Spirit.
shots.
Come deal with
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
I got 18 shots, or I got
18,
13 shots
yeah,
at one, and
whatever
then
it
I can
is.
do
Yeah.
whatever else at the other.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
really good.
For sure.
Yeah,
For what? 140?
130.
I'm sorry. 130. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, sorry. I mean,
It's-
Gurkhas are nice, but the models, and I've
It's not
I've
quite a
got-
gas, but whatever.
Right.
They
The
really
carcass,
need
I've
to
got a lot, and I've got a
re-mold
lot
those.
to paint, but this metal model kits are just so lacking in the detail, and the plastic models are so nice, which is why I like the Cromwell kit, because it's so nice, clean cut, looks sharp. Knock the antennas off, and then put something metal back in their place because they don't last. But
Wait, what?
yeah,
I broke me your antennas, Pat?
the
I'm sorry.
Cromwells are a plastic kit with a very thin antenna
Yeah,
on
they're
them.
they're so bad.
By the time I knock them off before even painted,
Yeah.
I've already replaced them with
You're
something
so
metal. Just-
frustrated. Yeah, I get it.
But the rest of the kit, it's gorgeous, and I like that way more than their Sherman resin kits, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I
So.
get it.
There you go.
Sweet.
Yep.
All right. Well, this kind of goes hand in hand with the last one, which is favorite unit in the game.
Oh, hang on. So
Ooh,
I haven't
ooh.
talked about
I'm
mine.
I'm sorry, Dale.
And we've kind of wrapped up, like you said, the Warlord model versus the
Yep.
our
Yep.
favorite game, our unit into the game. So my favorite model is actually the priest.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh, it's a gorgeous model.
I don't know
it is
why.
good.
I just really like that model.
I'm kind of shocked that you didn't say SMGs, Russian or Soviet scouts. But
Well, I mean, just from a model perspective.
yeah, no, fair.
And I can't explain it. I just really like that British. I don't even know if that's correct. The
Lend-Lease.
British
Lend-Lease,
the
yeah.
Lend-Lease
Yep.
is American produced, but it was British.
The
Upheld by the
priest.
British. Priest.
So
Just-
just tanks in general are a blast to paint.
Yeah.
and I think that was actually on the Kangaroo chassis, I believe.
Oh, dude, you got me.
Okay.
For the
but-
Priest is made on an M3 chassis.
Yeah, I was
Is
gonna
it-
say I feel like
So
it's
it's called a
M3.
priest because they had that little HMG nest that looked like the pulpit that
Pulpit.
the preacher would
Right.
speak
Okay.
on.
Yep.
I just really like that kit.
It's beautiful. Yeah, I agree.
I love that.
I painted mine up as one of my top 10 favorite painted models, and I
Okay.
put it on the table once to play.
Yeah.
And then
And
you cried, right?
That's putting all of the Italian stuff that Warlord has produced on the side. I mean, I really like the priest.
It's hard, right? Because GW or not GW, Warlord,
Jesus.
WL,
GW.
WL, whatever,
WL.
has done a great job of producing a lot of fantastic World War II models, for sure.
My favorite unit. Oh Jesus! My favorite unit in the game is the Soviet Scout Squad
Yeah.
right now.
For sure.
I've got two sitting on standby.
Gross.
I just, for whatever reason, that just fits right into my wheelhouse, and I can give all kinds of fits to the people that I play against
Well,
with
it's-
that Soviet Scout Squad.
It immediately makes people answer
Yeah.
to your problems, right? Like you now have presented a new problem, and you were able to make people answer to you.
Yeah, and honestly, that's not necessarily anything to do with me. That has to do 100% with the unit itself. So that's currently my favorite unit in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, Paul Walker.
So, all right, what's next?
So favorite unit in the game, I think we just answered the same questions. We've answered the same favorite Warlord models. I will say my favorite unit in the model, like modeling aside from point perspective, is still the Gerbeschager.
Yeah.
I will say I don't know what it took me to get to that point, but those models are the pinnacle in my opinion. Whether or not they're point value wise, I don't care. They're still amazing.
Yeah, they're beautiful. That's a beautiful kit.
Yeah.
I absolutely agree with you.
I will say a good strong runner up is the 8th edition, or not 8th edition. Jesus, I feel like I'm playing fucking 40K.
Wow.
8th Army British. The variables you can put into that army into those models are great.
Yeah.
So you can build yourself. You have a lot of variables in that list.
Yep.
Right? So those plastics are incredible in my opinion.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then my third is actually the German desert, whatever they are. I can't remember.
German desert.
Africa Corps?
Africa Corps, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great kit. The plastic Africa Corps kit is fantastic.
Yeah. It is.
Pat and I painted up a couple boxes for Adepticon the other year, and God, that was fun.
Yeah. Rules aside, they are great models.
Yeah.
I will say I hate the fact that the Germans wore long pants in the desert, but whatever.
Yeah.
That's what they chose. So that's what kind of leans me over to 8th Army in a general sense. So I don't know if anyone else has got an opinion about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I already said what my favorite unit in the game was.
Right.
Jeff, where are you coming from?
Models, paint.
Oh, yeah, models. I mean, you've painted, and then they're not necessarily Warlord models, but I think, even including Pat, you've actually painted not just boards, but from an army perspective, more than any of the rest of us have.
Yeah, it's very possible. Yeah.
And maybe this is not an opportunity for you to champion other or alternative, model producers. But we've never said a Warlord exclusive podcast. But where are you at on this one?
I will tell you, Warlord's plastics, their newer plastic kits, are absolutely fantastic. I'm a big fan of them. Getting into metals, though, their metal kits, Warlords unfortunately get a little dodgy here and there, and they don't have the full range outside the main 5 armies. So, Crusader miniatures.
So back up. What do you mean by the main 5?
Well,
I think I know what you mean, but
Germany, American, British, Russian, Japanese.
Okay, all right.
Right?
The big players,
so
yeah, for sure.
The biggest players, yeah.
Okay.
So, like, their French range is okay, but not fantastic. Belgians is getting better, but not fantastic. Things like that.
They're definitely playing on their fringe, for sure, at this point.
Yeah. So, but the great thing about historical wargaming is there's tons of companies that make miniatures, right? So, Crusader miniatures, all of my French, save the basic starter army, the very first thing I ever bought and painted, but I've tripled that in French now. They're all Crusader miniatures.
And that includes your Dragon
Portes, yes. And the motorcycle guys and the trucks. It's all Crusader.
The motorcycle guys were really, really cool, actually.
Yeah.
That actually made me think differently about bolt action, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is actually, well, I'm saying actually a lot. I find that very valuable.
Yeah. So Crusader miniatures, they're fantastic. They're metals, but they're metals with good detail still. Mm-hmm. I mean, some metals, you get kind of the slore face on them, and you're like, what the hell? But Crusaders are fantastic, so I'm a big fan of them. And then with my Marines I just painted, and I wanted to mix in some guys, so I picked up a bunch of stuff from Gaddis Gaming. We met him at Adepticon a few years back. Yep. And his miniatures are fantastic, too. So
I got some of those, too.
Yeah,
so
it's just really good.
What are your favorite models in the game, then?
Well,
I mean, I think it says favorite Warlord models here. So
yeah.
If it's my favorite Warlord model, I'm going to have to echo you on the Priest. I mean, I bought one purely to paint it.
Sure.
The rules in the game don't make it the most effective, but God, it's a gorgeous model.
Yeah. It seems to always get cut for something better.
Yeah. Well, there's just more competitive options,
yep.
And I end up playing more competitive games. So, but I have it. I painted it. I love it. It's on display in a little glass cabinet at home because that's how much I like it. So.
Okay. Nice.
Open top kind of really does screw it, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. I mean, you take those pins. And
medium howitzer with an HMG, which is also sub-competitive.
Well, I mean, medium howitzer is amazing.
Yes, but open top makes it hurt.
Yeah.
And the HMG is not where it should be.
Superfluous.
Well, I mean, the HMG, I think, can be useful depending upon how you use it. The real downside is the open top. So small arms fire can put pins on it, which means that you have to be careful with how you put it.
Yep.
But I think it's actually points costed decently to make it worthwhile.
Appropriately, for sure.
Especially because it's such a cool...
I think it's 160.
Yeah.
It's 165, I think.
I'm
No disagreement. It's
Yeah.
just not. It's a beautiful
You're
model.
right.
I don't think it's undercosted. I don't think it's overcosted.
There's
It's
other
just
things in that slot that
not the most
competitively
competitive.
you would
Sure.
choose.
Yep.
Right. I'm probably getting sucked
the
into the
spam
fact
store.
that I really like it. So.
Oh, I love the model.
It's
Absolutely love the
it's a
model.
beautiful model for sure.
Yep.
All right. What do we have next after
Oh,
this?
1 second. Since we're plugging other model companies, quick. Mad Bob Miniatures for that really hard to find vehicles no one makes. Check him out. His stuff's fantastic.
Right.
All right.
And I will say that you can get in some weird tangents from Mad Bob or Trenchworks or
Yeah, Trenchworks is excellent too.
yeah. And I love the fact that Warlord is actually partnering with them.
Yep.
Per se.
Now found in World of Games, you can get Trenchworks.
Right.
Yep.
You can get a
Yeah.
bunch of Trenchworks models, and that is a huge win in my opinion.
Yeah, it's great because Trenchworks really fills some gaps in the Warlord line.
For sure. And I love that the fact that, GW would never do that.
No.
No other model company would do that. And I think that benefits Warlord
Well-
in that they're not a model company per se.
They're
Right.
a game company.
They're
yeah.
a game
They're a
company.
game company with models.
And
So-
they're willing to participate with other companies.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about why that's not necessarily, but why that's worthwhile. While Trenchworks, the partnership with Trenchworks, the partnership with Sarissa, I don't think they have a partnership with Mad Bob, but why that is good
Yeah.
for the community itself.
Well, I think that goes back to the fact that they recognize that World War II is not they can't copyright this. It's an era of things. It's maybe they produce a duck, but somebody else might produce a duck, and maybe theirs is better. Who
So
knows?
in Mad Bob's development range, I think that he specifically developed stuff that was in the army books that Warlord itself did not produce.
For
Yes.
sure, yeah, absolutely. And I think
Right.
that's a key thing to call out is Warlord produced a rule book that didn't just supply you rules for stuff that they actually had. Right? They could just be like, we only give you point values for stuff that we've made. Right? Instead, they've said,
Here's everything.
here's everything for World War II, and when we can get to it, we can get to it. Otherwise, there are other producers for all of this stuff.
To be fair, it's not here's everything. Here's what's in the book. We
Well,
don't produce
for-
all of it.
Right. Well, I mean,
Right.
they're obviously abstracting it, right,
Sure.
as much as they can.
Right,
So-
but to Mad Bob's credit, I think he's actually intentionally chosen stuff that Warlord did not produce to not overlap or take away
Right.
from them. Which, and I mean, you can go either way in regards to from a perspective of who do you want to support. But the fact that Mad Bob chose to develop stuff that wasn't already being produced, I think, is a huge plus in my book.
Yep,
So
I
he,
Yes.
I don't know, Jeff, if you picked up any of his Char 1 B BISs or not, but I know that he put together a ton of them for a Cambridge Too Far.
No, F-17s. I had F-17s.
Oh, F-17s, thank you.
Yep.
Where he just, it's kind of a disgusting list, but that's
Well,
neither here nor there. But
right till you remember they're super slow and they only have machine guns. Yeah.
right,
Right.
but
Yeah, yeah.
everybody was like, I don't know what to do about it.
Right.
So I mean, all right. So I mean, I really feel like, as opposed to GW, which is where I think almost all of us came from, if not all of us, and by that I mean Jeff, Rick, Pat, and I from GW. This community is different, and Warlord's Game is not Games Workshop. And so the people that support Bolt Action are not the people that supported, 40K or Warhammer or those kind of things. So I mean, there's room here for all of us, and it's a pretty cool space. And as long as we work towards that, I'm actually excited about that.
Same.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Yeah. So back up into where we're at now. Pat, what do we want to do next?
Does anyone have a favorite episode and or title of our episodes? Because we started off pretty creative. We've been hit or miss. And I'll go first. I liked our episode 36 when we did the Korea, and we did the Snafu with the big asterisks in between the Snafu letters, like the MASH.
Yeah.
Oh, I missed that. Because there's not an asterisk after the U in that title.
Well, and that's the same way MASH was, too, because MASH didn't have
know
them
that.
after the H, yes.
Okay.
It was M asterisk, A asterisk, S asterisk, H, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that, actually. That's kind of a cool thing.
That was kind of my favorite title. My favorite episode, ironically enough, was this came in very close second for best title. Was the the 30 hardcore episode.
Was that because you kicked ass?
Well, it was the clever play on the 3 X's and the hardcore.
Hardcore, yeah.
Yes,
That's good.
It didn't hurt the fact that it was talking about a tournament that I won.
No, and you did. You well deserved. Congratulations on that one.
Yep.
So, I like that. Okay. All right. Jeff, what about you?
I'm a big fan of the Moped podcast. Just really, kind of
Encapsulates us.
Encapsulates us very well.
Which episode was that?
Oh, that'd be 37, I think.
Okay. Yep, 37 was the Moped of podcasts.
Oh yeah.
So why did that title fit the podcast in particular, or that episode in particular?
I think this will sound weird, but about episode 37 is when it finally clicked that, like, holy crap, we're really doing this and it's working.
All right, so that was in late August of 2019, which would have been almost a year ago. So
wow, it took you that many episodes. All right.
It just doesn't feel real until sometimes it just finally clicks.
It's pretty surreal.
Again, it's the same thing that we, on a normal club night, we just talk about this stuff,
right,
but the difference is Rick's recording it, and then we're putting it out there for other people to listen to.
And the other thing is, it's kind of like, like family and family friends, they're like, oh, and my wife's always like, he does a podcast because, she's got to find something to be proud of me for. And they all kind of look at you like, right, and these people who don't know anything, they all kind of look at each other like, oh, he does a podcast, that's lame. And they're like, how many people listen? And I'm like, we have like 10,000 downloads an episode. And they're like, what?
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. You're like, holy shit, like, can I advertise? What?
Yeah, they're like, are you making money on it? It's like, no, we don't do it for that.
Not much. Not much in the money market, but
50 episodes and not a single commercial spot. Nor will there.
Well, I mean, there won't be so far, but
no, this is like Dale was just saying. We do this for the community, Sure. We like to make enough to keep the lights on, and that's about it.
And we're getting close to being over that, but still, whatever.
We can maybe turn on a fan or something now.
Right. We can turn on fans for sure. Don't feel like you couldn't.
You meant actually adding something, not just trying to arouse our fans. I'm sorry.
Sorry. We can definitely arouse our fans, but
let's stay in our lane. Let's be
stay in your lane, bro.
So I'll jump in next, and then Rick can follow up.
Sure, absolutely.
I'm actually on the Snafu Bolt Action Podcast webpage, and just kind of going back through kind of all the episodes, and I'll be honest, I've only been drunk for a few of these. This is one of them.
Fuck yeah!
I honestly can't remember what most of these were about, and so I'm just looking at the titles, just kind of feeling what kind of makes me giggle. And let me see if I can find it. It's episode 23. Was that what it was?
That's
the Chinese pew platter.
That's episode 19, actually.
19, thank you. Yeah,
and that was the one that you edited, one of the early ones that had to be pulled back.
Yeah, it was like, oh
due
shit.
to a major gaffe / snafu in it.
There, yeah.
So, a behind the curtain look, we used to kind of rotate through who edited these, and then it became readily apparent some people were better at this than the rest of us. and so I'm looking at this, and platter is spelled incorrectly, Rick. Just so you know.
Is it TTR?
Double T's.
There's definitely two
shit.
T's on this one.
No, but it's funnier that it's later.
Later.
But that has to be.
I'm not changing it now for sure.
No, don't. No way.
That has to be my favorite episode titled "The Chinese Pew Pew Plater."
The only episode ever pulled back.
Well,
yeah, that one had some shit in it that we couldn't.
Yeah. The FAQ has recently, aside from why we had to pull it back, but the Chinese have been FAQ'd recently to kind of change their Sparrow rules, which don't make them necessarily as good.
Yeah, their Sparrow tactics got a little bit of a...
Yeah.
Got a little nerve.
But that, I certainly get a kick out of that. A close second was a bag full of shticks. So...
For sure.
How about you, Rick? Where are you at?
By far, my favorite name is Fact You because I said so. I don't know if anyone else said that, but
no, that was
no, we didn't.
That was specifically mine. Topic in general,
and that was probably the first one ever released in an AM.
Yeah, that was the whole idea of just the Tiger Fear. I don't care about the Tiger Fear. Just the title made me laugh. Just because Warlord didn't care. They were like, "Fuck you, we're doing it." That's my favorite of all of them.
The favorite title or the favorite episode?
Yes.
No, I can't say.
We were full tilt on that one. Holy cow!
Yeah, we were very salty.
That's the first time
episode.
I've ever put the warning at the very beginning of, "Hey, by the way." Your salt shaker's not required because we have enough for you.
Plenty. Your daily salt intake is plenty covered.
Check with your doctor. Your blood pressure may be up.
I don't know that I have another one that is like specifically. We've had so many good moments in all of these episodes. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, we've been at this for like 3.5 years.
Right. I will say, I don't know if it was my favorite moment, but pivotal moment was the Bug Eater late night was fucking great.
God.
That was episode 10, not our finest moment.
No, fine or not, it still was a moment. Like we changed our shtick at that point.
It surely it showed us
right.
more than the other episodes had.
Right.
I also liked the episode 28, Operation Wahoo, when we had the Wahoo Warrior at the first 2-day Operation Snafu.
Yes.
When he later posted in the Facebooks, like, "Oh my God, I can hear the rum in my voice."
So, Sean Vilmont, thank you. Cheers.
Wahoo Warrior.
Gotta
have you on again.
Yeah, we will definitely have to have you on again. I don't know if he's producing episodes right now or not, considering...
He's doing some YouTube stuff, yeah.
Yep. I don't... Yeah, like, hopefully he's got some backlog of stuff to work on, because, obviously COVID's really affecting his stuff, I'm sure, as much as it is affecting all of ours. Mm-hmm. So, we love you, Sean. We'd love to hang out with you again, because it's always a blast.
Yeah, 100%. It's really, and again, this kind of just goes out to the community. And clearly, if you listen to us, you probably know that we're just like, if not yourself, then someone in your gaming group. And it's just one of those things where we just have fun, get together, play games. We just happen to kind of talk about it, and we're not doing this any better than you could yourself.
No, you just happen to push record and put it out there,
right?
And then you download it. That's on you.
Yeah. I will encourage anyone else to do this. If you want to reach out to us and you really want to do a podcast about bolt action, I will gladly help you. Pat, I'm sure, would do as well.
Absolutely.
You can reach out on our Facebook group to do the same. We obviously realize
it's not magic.
No, it's really not.
It's just it's time commitment.
Yes,
it really is
for sure.
It's not special. I mean, the way I feel about these guys is special, but
that's a different podcast.
And I think that is what makes it special for us. Is it's not that we're hitting a record. It's that we've got how many years of this? 5, 10,
almost 3.5.
50.
Oh, for gaming?
Yeah, gaming as a group.
Well, Rick, you and I, we go back
20 plus years.
like 2 decades.
Yeah.
And Jeff wasn't long behind that, and then Pat came in
I'm
not
a new
long
guy.
after that either. So
15,
and that was like 15 years. So.
Yeah, so we've have a long record of doing all this together. So I think that is what is required. I don't know if I'm going to say it's required, but that is what helps us make us do what we do, is that we've got a lot of history.
We're all able to find the time to do this.
Well, that really is what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Right?
You know,
It's work and it's a time commitment.
It's 1:30 in the morning and we're still recording together, so that's a commitment.
1:39, but who's counting?
Sure, okay. Thanks, Pat.
And Dale sounds more sober than he did at the beginning of the episode.
I do too, actually. To be
I've
fair.
been on water for a while, so
I've drank 3 quarts of water since I decided I was too drunk to keep going.
I'm probably on about 2 liters, but pretty.
Go figure, quarts versus liters. I have no idea. Metric
depends what part of the country you're downloading
right,
from.
Exactly. So that was our favorite episode title. Favorite moment in Bolt Action. So
I've got it.
Oh, Pat.
I've got one, and this
Okay.
was not in 30 hardcore, but it was actually the year after when I was playing. I was playing the Hungarians just to see how well they could do, and it must have been game 4 against Jeremy, and I came back from being down to, it was a draw against my favor, to swinging with the last minute Panzerfaust shot in the turn 7 that showed up to swing me from a draw to a minor victory. It was so crazy the way it happened. I still remember it. I still had some guys hunkered in a bunker where he had been. I'd been pinning out his veteran unit in some woods the whole game. And then I came out to Panzerfaust, his Chaffee, which was up against the edge of the board and couldn't go anywhere. And then the last order dice in the round on turn 7 came out to Panzerfaust, a transport that needed 6s and then 6s again to wound kill to change it from a draw to a minor victory. That was still my favorite moment in the game. Jeremy, thanks. I know you listen.
Sweet.
Nice.
That still was. So I think that's encapsulated in an episode somewhere that I don't remember, but that was still stands out as the best moment in the event for me.
Okay. My favorite event moment. Jeff, you go.
That's your favorite event moment?
No,
Jeff, you go.
I'll let him go first.
In case you have the same one.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe his moment is me not throwing up during our
on the fucking candy cane
board.
table.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus Christ, yeah. That's got to be up there. My
It's
God,
pretty close.
just watching you turn green as you take more deep breaths around that
right,
table.
Exactly. It was just like, dude, I know you're hungover as shit. Why are we here? Let me play both our armies.
Oh God, that was awful though. I wasn't even hungover, and I thought I was about to puke on that table.
Rick was so hungover, you felt hungover?
Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure I had covered everyone's hungover at that Adepticon that year.
Yeah, no, that one was bad. No, my favorite event moment, I think, would have to be the combat patrol from Adepticon. What, 2 years ago now? I guess a year ago, whatever.
Yeah,
whenever it was.
Whatever years
finishing
ago.
my first game in 32 minutes with a win was pretty awesome. Not gonna lie.
Pretty busted. Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, it was great, and I won a prize for that too, which is kind of fun.
We
had the fastest games in both tournaments.
Sure.
So.
Episode 33, Jeff.
Sure.
I will say.
By the way, mine was episode 35.
I don't know what episode mine was. My favorite event moment is me losing the ability to get into any of my fucking hotel rooms.
Oh God damn, that was awful.
It's so great. It was par for the course at that point. But
that one wasn't covered as a picture on Facebook.
That was the craziest Adepticon, because that was one you were hung over with the candy cane table. We got locked out of our room,
and
for
you had the shrimp,
and you had
and
the
I had the shrimp and got sick for a day and a half. Yeah.
So between you throwing up and me throwing up, we basically had
we wrecked that place.
We destroyed that apartment or that hotel room, whatever. Yeah, same.
No, it was fine by the time we left.
That wasn't the same.
No charges were ensued.
Right.
I mean, to be fair, my aim was better than Rick's, but
I cleaned up after myself at least.
Is that the one where I Theismann Rick down to the floor? And
I was wondering if that was the same.
In my sleep.
That's the same weekend where you Heismaned him right to the floor.
That was the best Adepticon ever in respect to stories, but not favorite Rick moments for sure.
Not favorite Jeff moment.
Yeah, no, that was brutal.
One of the better Pat sleep moments, though. Dead asleep said, "Hail to boom."
Yeah, you sleep on the floor, dude. Sleep on the bathroom floor. I don't care wherever you sleep, but you're not sleeping on top of me.
Didn't you also break your commemorative cup at that one too?
I broke someone's cup. I think
it was mine.
I was drunkenly drinking out of someone's cup and I broke it. Yes,
mine. I foolishly gave it to you.
Yeah. I think
okay. And you're like, no, I won't. And turned out you're right.
No, I'm pretty sure I said I don't want to drink out of this cup because I'm pretty sure I'll break it. And I broke it.
And you did. You're correct. I have a picture of that, actually.
If we had title images, that would be great. But we're not going to go there.
Lord.
Anyway, so 50 episodes, 3.5 years, 4 years. What are we at?
Did Dale have an event memory?
Yeah. What do you have, Dale?
Did everyone else have?
We for sure have.
All right. So, for me, it was actually that first time, it may be the only time that we met together collectively in the Byerly's upstairs bar area to talk about WTC together.
Okay.
And to dissect the scenarios for the WTC.
Okay.
And for those who have listened in the past and know, Rick, Pat, and I were on one of the American teams, and Jeff was not on the team, but Jeff still participated in regards to giving his feedback and his thoughts and
to tell us how the fuck to play bolt action.
Exactly.
Right.
And so
how to not suck. Yeah.
Because
right?
I mean, clearly, because we all live in a relative distance to each other, there's a huge advantage to that. So we could talk about and plan and strategize and all those kinds of things. And so that first time that we had come together collectively to kind of do that, I really felt like, I mean, when you sign up for a podcast or sign up to a new miniature game, or whatever the case may be, you don't really think about what your long-term goals are. But for me, I'd always thought it would be so cool to represent my country in a huge event. The WTC for Warhammer had long been a tradition, and I had never, in my knowledge, come close to qualifying for something like that. And so to be selected, and not only personally selected, but also to have two of the people that I knew personally selected, in addition to Jeff kind of participating in that, was personally a really, from an event perspective, just kind of cool thing. And it could be debated that the podcast had something to do with that, and our maybe not contribution, but our voices in the community, those kinds of things, may have had something to do with that, and that's all true. But to be able to sit around that table with these three gentlemen was a really special and memorable, a bucket list item for me. And I will always be grateful to the person who selected the teams, and to Warlord, and to the rest of the guys on the podcast for that moment, because I've always wanted to be able to represent the United States, in kind of an international level event, and I was given that opportunity this year, and so that is my, and probably will always be the highlight of
and
my
those
hobby.
people responsible have been sacked.
and with good reason. But
Good reason. No,
it's
yes.
just
And we were approached and we were asked. It's not like we. And I think some of these countries have qualifiers to establish who's the best or whatever. But yes, Dale, you're correct. We were approached and we were asked by our country's representative, and then also asked if we do anyone else who would be willing to fly to the end of the earth to do this type of thing.
You mean Ireland? No, yeah.
right.
Isn't that what I said?
Yeah, sure.
Right,
Close enough.
and to be perfectly clear and honest with the folks that bothered to listen, it's not
Bothered to
necessarily
listen. I like it.
A reflection on our aptitude or our ability or anything like that. I'm not trying to put that out. I just want to express my appreciation and gratitude to not just Rick and Pat and Jeff and the people who picked the teams. That it's been a real joy to be a part of not just this episode, but all of the others and the planning for the WTC and everything that is kind of involved in that. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Dale. That is heartfelt, and I
Yeah, it was a lot of fun too.
I
It's
wholeheartedly concur with what you're saying. Like, I found pride in saying, even to my coworkers who I don't normally confide in
Right.
my nerdy
Yep.
stuff, like saying I get to represent the United States in a worldwide tournament is a huge thing, and they're like, "Holy cow!" Like, that's a thing. Like, whether or not you want to take it as that, that's a prideful moment for sure.
What did you have to go there? I had to say yes.
Yes. Well, someone else asked, right?
Right. Yeah. So
Someone else thought
clearly
that maybe we wanted to do
that
this.
someone, of course, John,
Yes.
thought that we were
Arguably, probably the best in North America, for sure.
or available.
Oh,
Availability is an ability.
in itself, sure. But
Availability is a quality in and of itself.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you ever want to challenge John Stentz to a game. Well, welcome John
Pick it.
Stentz to our episode. At the end of the episode, I'm pretty sure if you ever want to challenge John Stentz to an to a game of bolt action, he might.
He'd
kick
be
your
more
ass.
than happy to beat you.
Yeah, he'd more.
I haven't beat him in 3 finishes at a depth
Right.
or at a bug eater. For fuck's
At
sake.
best, you've been
Oh
able
my
to
God.
draw, right?
Go back to the fortune telling of episode 10. Actually commented that you draw on him the next year.
Totally
No
did.
kidding. No kidding.
Totally did.
Right.
Every year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tough nut to crack for sure.
Yeah. So that is my favorite. I mean, it wasn't completely realized, but I mean, in all honesty, the perfect moment would be all 4 of us together.
For sure.
But that just wasn't to be in 2020.
Nope.
Even so, that doesn't mean that we couldn't prepare together and plan together and still take advantage of all of the expertise that Jeff has to bring, and he did bring to the WTC team.
Yeah.
So
Let's do it under 2023 in version 3.
yeah.
Sure, I got 5 years on my voucher. Why not?
If you ever get it.
Right? That's a different.
The hell?
That's a different podcast in itself too. This has been episode 50, guys.
Yeah.
We've gotten 50 in. Let's go another 50.
At least.
Hopefully,
This is probably going to be our longest podcast to
Well,
date
for sure.
by a good stretch.
Oh, for
There's
sure.
like 4 hours of this that are getting cut. Don't worry.
We have 3 hours of us and plus 2 interviews.
There's
Shit,
at least
dude.
an hour getting cut for sure, minimum.
Come on,
Yeah.
leave
I've
it
been
all.
drunk.
Leave it
There's
all.
more.
Leave it all.
There's
in.
more red than there is black on my agenda. So
All right, fine.
and 3 different title changes. So
Okay.
I did like Air of Things for a while there, but I cut that one out.
Yeah, no, it's that's,
What is it now?
Belligerent and numerous.
that is the appropriate title for episode 50. We appreciate all of you that have listened. We have a couple new Patreons. We thank you for your contributions. Again, this is a thing that we all do together. Obviously, in the current situation, this is the best that we can do.
This is the thing we do.
This is what we contribute. We'd love to hear what you guys have to say. Obviously, you can reach us on Facebook or email.
Always.
I've already told you I delete all my emails, so maybe on
So
Facebook is a
do
better
that.
approach.
You can't delete the Facebooks.
Yeah, Facebook is hard to delete, so if you want to talk to us on Facebook, that's great. But we love conversation. We love feedback. We want to talk to you guys. We're part of the community. That's why we started this. That's why we're going to continue it for another 50 episodes. Another
At least
4 years. Holy cow, guys. This is a lot.
it's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's what we're here for.
Hells to the yeah.
All right. So thank you, John. Thank you, Paul. Let's wrap it up, Pat.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for the 50. We love it. This is Snafu. Over and out.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night, everybody.
And I promised you on the last episode that we're doing this. I'm going to bring up some rum to share with you guys at Renegade, because I know what's going to happen, and it's going to be Obahoshi, which is a rum that's crazy. If you drink it straight like a shot, it's an alcohol liquor. But if I mix it with a Coke, it's a whole other thing.
We'll have to try it both ways then.
Amen,
Right.
brother. I'm looking forward to that.
All right, guys. It's getting late. And this has been a blast. But this has been another long episode. Pat, take us out of here.
We're gonna end this shit on a good note.
End this episode on a
End
good
this
note.
episode on a good note.
When do we not end an episode on a good note?
I think all of them are like, hey, it's tired, it's late, let's leave.
Yeah,
So,
we're not there yet.
well,
Some
give
of
it
us are.
15 minutes.
And I'm done.
So,
All right. Good night.
This is Snafu over and out.
Good night, Pat and Jeff.